Welcome to the Let's Talk with Paula show, where we talk about important topics and we talk about people that write books. You know, we've had bands, you know, a little bit of everything. This was my very first show, and I'm very pleased with it because it's an award-winning show, as all as the rest of my shows. But anyway, I have some special guests that are here tonight, and I would like to move with, you've seen this guy that's sitting here, you know him. He's been a part with this group, the gentleman sitting next to him in the past. But we haven't seen him for a while, but we did a tribute to him with Mr. Max Meyer. Did I say his name wrong? I always get Mayor Max. That's it. Mayor Max. We did a tribute to him for Black History Month just not that long ago. So I just want you, I'm glad to see him here. He's been a very important part of us moving on in this, and you know, I thank you for being able to be back with us. Okay.
Thank you.
So now you can introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Sergeant Jonathan Hans Kirby, United States Marine Corps.
Oh, good evening. My name is Donald Bell. I'm an attorney here in Maryland, specifically here in Prince George's County, and I'm happy to be back here. Again, thank you.
Hi, I am Ambassador Dr. Lady Diamond Britt. This is a return trip, actually, for me, but it was many years ago.
Yeah.
And we're here now to really begin to talk more with Paula.
Thank you so much for coming back.
I'm Charles Carter, Dr. Britt's fiance and Cybersecurity Director for Eden Estates.
Okay.
I'm Alberta Mewborn from New Bern, North Carolina, and Lady Britt is my daughter.
All right, and it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
First Lady. Okay, so we're here to give a tribute to Black History Month, and we're going to talk about some other things later on. But I wanted to start with this young lady because, like she said, that she had been here some time ago, and it was eons ago. And then we all went down to the Veterans Administration, and we went to meet with Commander Charles Eagleston with his CVAT. And so now, since you've seen her, which has been many years ago, she has now become an ambassador. She has a doctorate, and we call her Lady Diamond, okay? But I'm so glad to have her here with us tonight because I want to pay tribute to her for the journey that she's taken from whence we first met her until where we are today. And it's been a wonderful journey, and I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And I thank you, and I give tribute to you for all the things that you have accomplished.
Thank you.
And having your wonderful family here with you tonight for that tribute, and friends.
Yes.
Okay. So if you could just kind of introduce yourself. You did that, but could you just kind of give us a snapshot of that journey since we have last time seen you?
Oh, sure. The last time when I was here, I was not an ambassador, right. But I had, of course, worked my way through the federal government and had gone through my experiences through the Pentagon and White House, Congress, Library of Congress, Senate, and so on, FBI, CIA. I did my stint there. After leaving from there, I took some time off, and of course, with my mom, I went down prior to Charles coming along, spent some time with my mom and dad, and then, of course, after that, my dad, he passed last year, so during that time, even before then, Charles finally had an opportunity at that point to, you know, meet him, and I was very glad, right? And then having that experience, leaving from North Carolina, coming back up, and then started working heavily, even prior to that, even more with Eden Estates, you know. It really became very important to me, especially at sitting at my dad's bedside, and he spoke some words to me that you only see in the Word of God. And if you remember in the Bible how it talked about where Ishmael was receiving the blessing, and you had those parents who actually spoke a word over your life before they departed. And that's what he did in my life. At that point, I kept thinking, maybe I should just quit right now. You know, I really wanted to like give up at that point because I was like, well, what am I going to do now? You know, but then that encouragement came in one day when I was driving, and those words hit me like a brick. And I remember him saying, I want you to fight harder, I want you to work harder, and I want you to minister more than you ever have. I want the fire of the living God to be upon your life even more. So since then, since I've seen you last, I became an apostle. And through that journey, I just kept growing and growing. And the grace of God has just literally been over my life, throughout my complete life. But this has just been one of those opportunities that giving back to people, even in the midst of my pain, I'm still giving back to others. And sometimes the easier way it was for me was to say, okay, let me continue to keep giving back, even though I may be hurting, right? But I found that to be a healing process, that giving back actually became something for me to say, oh, wow, this is my way now. Okay, so this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but the growth of Eden Estates, and I will always give this back to God. When you're giving, you're pouring out. But if you're already full and you're refusing to give, how can you expect to pour something into a full bucket? You have to let something go in order to receive something back. So at the point that I began to start my journey again with pushing harder, becoming more determined that I was going to help more and more people, I made up my mind that 300 people in 2024 to 2025, we're going to be blessed by the hands of the work that we would do. And Jonathan is actually my business partner too. So this has been since 2010 that we've been pushing this thing. And now that we've gotten to this journey, as soon as I made up my mind with that, then the ambassador of Chad came, and she wanted me to now take this back to Africa in Chad, because there's about 1.5 million people who actually travel over the borders daily into Chad. With that being the case, it's difficult for them to house that many people. So they now spoke to us, and we did, you know, multiples of meetings and things of that, you know, sort. So now we've arranged for that to now go back to Chad immediately. Again, Eden Estates went international once we revamped the company and got things back on track. So now we have Chad, Africa, we have Ghana, we have Nigeria. Their governments, Nigeria and Ghana's government wants to use it for their emergency personnel, meaning their law enforcement, their 911 individuals, right?
So I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What is Eden Estates?
Eden Estates is a 501c3 organization that is, originally it was meant specifically and only for veterans that were homeless or that was in despair. So what we did was we began to go out into the community, into the forest areas, and we would go out and we would help those individuals go from homelessness into home ownership. Right? So that we kept doing that from our own pockets. We were doing that, walking in, making sure they had food. This is what Eden is meant to be, just that. In the Word of God, we know that Eden is that safe place that everybody started from.
You're getting my people.
Yes.
The veterans.
Yes.
And you're giving them a place to live?
We're doing more than that. So Eden Estates is more about rehabilitation for life, overall, in every aspect of life. There's 4 main areas. The mentorship is the initial portion that they receive when they come in. After they've received mentorship, then that's when we start the training and education. All training and education is absolutely free. Then we have the job assistance portion that we assist them with, and then we have the housing that we do right after the job assistance.
Wow.
So by the time they leave us, they have They go through a full credit rehabilitation. They go through parenting courses. The bank actually gives them financial courses. It's a lot in one package.
And since we're there, right there, and we talked about Eden Estates right now, Tom, would you pull that up for me, please? Would you pull, since that question has been brought to us, you know, now, can you, so she can see those pictures and tell that's a part of what the project is that they're working on. So if you could explain what that is, so
yes.
you know.
So this particular project is actually the project that we've brought here to Glen Arden. The mayor of Glen Arden, that is Mayor Kashina Cross, she is working with us with Post 275 that is looking to basically go through a rehabilitation, but also for all of the veterans at Post 275, they will also have the option to purchase a home. They don't have to be homeless. No one has to be homeless or in complete despair. It's two different portions of Eden Estates. Those who have their homelessness to go through our hardship rehabilitation program, right? Mm-hmm. That's from homelessness to home ownership, mm-hmm. right? And then you have those who have absolutely no difficulty in life whatsoever, but they still want to purchase what we offer. So this particular project is the Genesis. This Genesis project is the project that will be right off of Martin Luther King Jr. Highway. You see it right there. This is Post 275, and the way that their property is on the right side, if you're looking upward this way, you'll see on the right side it says add more, right? Okay. That portion of the property is where the current post is, right? But they have property on the other side directly in front of where they are. They have an additional property where you see the housing. That is their other land. And right at number 24, I believe, is where the 7-Eleven sits today. So this is what we're doing on that property. We're creating approximately 60 homes on that side of the street. The community center, which is 2-level, it'll give them an arts center. They'll have an art museum there. They'll have some other business centers, things of that sort, mm-hmm. for the community.
So let's see the next picture. Let's show the next picture of what they're doing so that we can, because time restraints. You can ask the question, but this is part of mm-hmm. what?
This is the same project, but realistic when we now made this in the 3D models, okay. right? So this is kind of going to give you an idea of what that housing is going to look like on that land.
Okay, and then there's another picture, one more picture?
That's a closer view of it.
Okay, and so that's just a model? Those are actually just a model representation mm-hmm. of what it's going to look like?
Yes.
Okay, it looks so realistic, it's really nice. It really looks like it's going to be a nice environment for the veterans.
For this right here, this particular project mm-hmm. is not for the hardship rehabilitation so much as it offers them both sides of the fence, but it is specifically for veterans alone.
Okay.
It will be a gated community mm-hmm. and they'll have a lot of amenities mm-hmm. that you don't even see in normal housing, mm-hmm. right? We offer things that most people don't even consider. People with abilities. We're working with an organization right now that has a mouthpiece that goes inside the mouth mm-hmm. and it actually regulates drawers. It'll open the drawers for them if they have abilities and they're having difficulty with getting drawers open. Mm-hmm. There's different things that it can open and shut, but it's also things that they can work on their computer systems. Mm-hmm. All they have to do is move their tongue. Mm-hmm. A lot of times what we end up forgetting is that the tongue is a very powerful muscle. Mm-hmm. And we tend not to use that muscle. Mm-hmm. But if someone who can't speak needs to speak, we have to find ways of being able to acclimate to what their needs are. So that's what we look for. Mm-hmm. That's our specialty, mm-hmm. is looking for the things that seem to be impossible mm-hmm. and make them possible. The things that are not tangible mm-hmm. becomes tangible mm-hmm. to those who really need it. So for us, it's more than just a home. Our homes have Braille on the walls. Our homes, it's so many different things that we offer mm-hmm. in our homes. glow in the dark in case if there's an emergency and you have someone who can't hear but they can see. They have glow in the dark arrows that show them where they're supposed to go. They have alerts in their home that also lets them know that there is an emergency, whether if they're deaf, if they're blind. There's so many different things, again, that we offer. Waterless systems. So for our toilets, we don't have water. All of ours are burned, and then it burns into an ash, and that ash is changed only twice a year.
Okay. So let's see, Jonathan, you are her partner, and so just, you know, it had to be birthed from someplace. So, you know, you're here today, and we're glad to see you, and we're glad to see that, you know, you and Ambassador are working on such a wonderful project. Because I remember when you was going in the woods, and you would tell us all the time that you was out there feeding people and going out there and, you know, making sure that they were okay. But it's great to see that it's come to fruition, because I remember, you know, how you would talk about that when you were on the show to let people know. And you would tell us that it was dangerous for the people that lived out there. So tell us how, you know, you fit into this project as being her partner.
Well, first of all, we, Lady Diamond and I, when I was going out down into the woods, you know, to help these veterans out, first of all, it was real hurting to me, and I'm a veteran myself, but these people could actually handle themselves between their hardships. It's just that the government, and I have to say the government, didn't treat the ones fairly, and then through all of their hardships, they wanted to become 100%. But they couldn't. First of all, they didn't know how. Right.
And that's where Attorney Bell has been on the show constantly telling us what's going on, not only with the veteran, him and Commander Eagleston and Ross, which is the loan modification guys, you know all of them. Attorney Bell, you know, would keep us up to date on what was going on with the veterans and the ones that, because tell them what you do. Right quick, Donald, with the veterans and everybody else.
Well, I mean, I think my slogan, my calling is, you know, we talk about building generational wealth through home ownership. And part of what we try to do is we try to assist people who are facing foreclosure, save their homes for foreclosure. You know, we do that through loan modifications, through bankruptcy, through any number of legal, you know, any number of legal maneuvers or legal filings in order to assist people in saving their homes for foreclosure. Because, you know, my personal opinion is that the way to build generational wealth, you know, is through, you know, the bedrock, the foundation is home ownership. You know, you're laying on your deathbed and you've been in that home for 30, 40 years, you paid it off. You get to pass that wealth down to the next generation, and so on and so forth. And hopefully that creates that generational wealth in your family. So, I mean, that's sort of what, you know, what we try to do. Okay,
so now is that possible with the program that you guys have? Is it possible for them to pass it on to their family once the veteran has passed on?
Absolutely. So the house, remember with the VA, they also have opportunities. Even if it was you, if he purchased the home right now and he wanted to give it to you, gift it to you, there's a transaction that can currently happen, and it's just a single form where he can gift that home to you. If he wanted to purchase another home, he would need to purchase that new home first before gifting it to you, right? And then when he goes into that home, he can gift it to you. The beautiful part about that is the fact that you're able to now have the same benefits as that veteran.
Gotcha.
That's the part that I believe is the most beautiful part, and so many people don't know about that. Right?
And that's why I thought it was good for Attorney Bell, because he helps so many different people that are losing their homes.
Right.
And he's also been present when you've talked about all the things that you will do, and for us to both to see it come to fruition, I take my hat off to you, and I take my hat off to you as well.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you're here, but I also want to honor you with these two other guests that are sitting here, okay?
Yes.
This is your mom. Diamond told us the wonderful journey that she took, but you don't want to know what that journey was best. Could you give us a few words and tell us about your wonderful daughter?
Well, my little baby, she's the youngest of my 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been a perseverer.
Mm-hmm.
She was always by my side, no matter where I went.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that stayed closest to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard letting her go after she got grown and
Mm-hmm.
decided to flutter off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But to God, I'm eternally grateful
Right.
because I have a special respect for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I have an older daughter who's a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
and she's trying to get her benefits. And this that Cedrica is doing
Mm-hmm.
blesses others.
Yes,
But
it
she has
does.
always been a person to want to help other people.
Mhm.
And I tip my hat off to you.
And we all
Keep
do.
on keeping on.
And we
Don't
honor
stop.
Thank
you. We honor you, and we honor your mother to be the patriarch of your home.
Yes.
For, you know, it had to come from someplace. You know what I mean? So I honor you as well. This
you.
Black History Month, we don't honor each other enough.
Yes.
Okay.
True enough.
And I like to. It started out with Ambassador, but it's ending with you.
Yes.
Okay, because it's an honor to be able to meet you, and that you're still here to see your children do wonderful things.
Yes.
And
That
I'm
is
so
that is
proud
a
of them all.
honor. Yes, it
I'm
is.
proud of them.
And we have this gentleman that's sitting here that is blessed to be in your company. So, you know, before we get, I just want everybody to have an opportunity to say something. Just tell us, you said you're the security person for Eden Estates.
Yeah, cybersecurity.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I've been in cybersecurity over 20 years. It's been a pleasure just being a part of Diamond's life. She has a genuine heart for helping people, constantly on the phone, day and night, always helping someone. And there at a drop of a dime at any time of the day to help anyone. And I love that about her. You know, I appreciate that about her. You know, I'm a retired veteran myself, so I
What
definitely.
branch? We always ask people what branch they serve.
Army.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we have another person that comes on that's in the Army, and they used to give them a hard time.
So when it comes to, I give the Marines a hard time.
I just had to mention that, okay? Go ahead.
So I love and respect her and appreciate and support everything she's doing, and therefore 100%.
And I met a long time ago, and you know, when we were invited to go down to this first meeting down there, she was more than happy to go down there with me to represent us on the show. And Jonathan and some other people came at that particular time.
Wow.
And at that time, y'all were working on a different kind of project, but it fit into what we were going to down the VA to do, you know. And I always was amazed by, you know, her, period. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So, but everybody gets disconnected because God has us all to do different things to work in His golden plan.
Absolutely.
But He always brings those people back together so that we come full swing, so that we can all work in
Come
His
together.
plan. You know what I mean?
I do.
And so there's a blessing, and I honor you. I honor you guys, you military people. I honor you.
Thank you.
I've had 3 shows that have had black men and women on, and I'm for Black History Month, and I think it's an honor to have people to see and to see you, First Lady, that, you know, we can honor you for this Black History Month, and we can honor you guys in the military for Black History Month, and Ambassador to honor you for all the work that you and Jonathan and your fiance is Charles is doing, okay? And always the work that you do, Donald, trying to make sure that people have homes and, you know, everybody can, you know, live and we can be people and have a place, and that generational wealth, you see it right here. That you always talk about. You see that right here,
And
you know.
I do want to say this. One of the things that I'm glad I hear the things that you say, what you're trying to do, to help them save their property. One of the things that we make sure is that if it's your property and you want to use, say if someone has land and they want to offer that land, they can offer their land and not have to sell it to us. We can actually build the property, and we have a contract with them from 45 years to 99 years, somewhere in there. It depends on the bank, right? What the bank dictates. But they can lease their land, just like you can to the government. Lease their land to us. We will build on that property, right? That creates that generational wealth.
Right.
And that's some of the things that as Black Americans we end up missing.
Right.
Right? You have land that's just sitting there, not being used, trees on it. Lease your land.
Yes.
Allow, if you're not going to be here to see the blessing Moses, let's go ahead and make sure the children still cross over to Jordan.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And I thank God because I was raised with this. This isn't something new.
Right.
I watched my mother. Listen, I used to tell the kids in the neighborhood, go home to your own mother. I didn't understand it at the time because I was such a yes, my mother was raised in the village.
Yes.
And I was the little kid where I'm like, I don't want them to keep coming to my mom. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then as I got older, I didn't realize that these were some of the same things that were built inside of me, right? So a lot of times what we end up doing is we have our children and we raise our children that way and we don't see it, but God has a bigger plan. And that's exactly what happened. And then being here with Charles, there's a lot of maturing that I have had because of this man. And I can't do nothing but thank you. I can't do anything but thank you. And as regardless to what turmoil life may bring,
that's right,
my backbones are still there.
That's right.
My support is still there.
That's right.
Right? And with Jonathan, Jonathan has been there. He will bring everybody. But I tell you what, regardless of the fact, we have always stayed true to each other. We've stayed true to our families. Our husbands and wives know each other. We don't try to hide anything. That is my brother for sure.
But he's our brother too. So
absolutely.
You can't have him all to yourself. So I'm just letting you know. You can't have him all to yourself.
Yes.
He's our brother as well. Okay. So I'm gonna get that straight. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm just glad that he is alive, alight with some other people. You know, that have been able to be fortunate that are still with us. And that's why I thought it was such a great thing, because Donald's on the show with me a lot of times. He stuck with me through COVID,
yes,
to make sure that people got information. And he's always bringing information to the vets and to the people and how to help in this generation. And I just thought it was just great to make sure that he was on this show with you guys so that you can connect. Because that's what God wants us to do, is to connect. So we can help each other. But also, once again, I want to honor these people that are on this set today for Black History Month. Look and see, from the first person in the seat across from me, all the way around the room. These are people that are working people that have struggled and strived, and we are still here, okay?
Yes.
And we're still doing positive things in this world. And I don't think that we recognize our fellow Black historians enough. And that's what I've taken this month to do, to make sure that I could, oops, excuse me, I could in fact honor you. And it's such an honor, and you and you and you and you, you know, and thank God and God bless you. And we will see y'all next time, okay?
Yes.
And we're going to say good night.
Good night.
Good night.